Welcome to weeks 7 and 8. So I hope you've enjoyed the first half of this program. We're going to get right into it here in weeks 7 and 8. You're going to see batting practice introduced in here. You're going to see some other options as you go forward here. Let's get right into it. You're going to start with the mental goal impression program. You're going to go right into your T sequence. Again, reminder, we want to make sure that each of your players are attacking the T at or close to game speed with these T sequences. Okay, so let me give you the T sequence right here. Your first set is middle away 3, middle in 3, and then you switch. Second set is middle away 3, middle in 3, and then you switch. Third set is away 3, middle away 3, and then you switch. Fourth set is in 5, middle away 1, and then you switch. In 5, middle away 1, and then you switch. And set 6 is in 1, middle away 1, and you end with hard contact. Now, again, hard contact to me means low line drive, not going into the top of the cage over and over and over again, but keeping the ball off the top of the cage so that you're getting those good low mid-level line drives off the tee so that the players are working from the top part of the baseball down, which will show itself later in front flips and in batting practice if you've got guys and girls who are swinging up too often and rolling the ball unintentionally. So these things usually reveal themselves on the tee. Make sure you're paying attention to that. So in week 7 and 8, the optional exercises are going to be performed in front flip fashion. If you can see there, it's going to be with the ball moving. That simply means we want you to be set up as though these are being done on the tee, but instead of doing them on the tee, you're going to flip to the player, and the player is going to be hitting these balls when they're moving instead of when they're not moving on the tee. So they're a little bit more of a difficulty in here as we enter weeks 7 and 8, and you're going to love these things. The players are going to love them, and you're going to again, we're going to use these drills to increase and improve hand-eye coordination and dexterity with each one of your players. So those optional exercises, here are your options for one of those. Hey, this is Jody Garrett. This is the Frank Thomas drill. So in Frank Thomas's career, a lot of what he was known for as he hit was a scissor. When he swung the baseball bat, he would scissor his foot to the back so that he could feel himself hit against this front hip. It eliminates the ability for a hitter to spin out of control and off the baseball or the softball, and the Frank Thomas swing can be made into a drill. This is the Frank Thomas drill. We've got our T and our T map. We're set at middle. You can move this along the hit line in any situation to accommodate the hitter, but the Frank Thomas drill is going to simply be the hitter is in his or her stance. He's going to load, separate, and swing, and the hitter is going to come up just like this to be able to swing, just like Frank Thomas did. So I'm going to get into this and just like that. So that this back foot is going to come up like this. You've got engagement with your lower body. You've got engagement against this front hip, and your hip's not spinning out of control because you've scissored your lower half. That's the Frank Thomas drill. Hey, I'm Jody Garrett. This is the pre-fired lower half drill. What we're doing here is we're trying to mimic what it feels like at the end of a swing by already firing the lower body at the correct point and just working and reverse engineering the swing from there. So this is how it works. We've got the hitter, we've got our T, we've got our T map. We're going to set up in our location. We've got the T on, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to have the hitter take a false swing and bring him or herself all the way out to a place where he or she is finishing an aggressive swing, okay? So I've already fully rotated, my back heel is up, I'm into it just like this, and I'm going to rotate back and swing. So what that does is basically I'm holding that position at the end of the swing and simply bringing it back and swinging. So if you've got a hitter who's reluctant or unable to finish in his lower body or her lower body, where they're swinging sort of like this and not feeling like they can't create the feeling as though they're finishing because they're not able to join their lower body through the upper body, this is a really good drill because it's already done for you. All you're doing is reverse engineering and swinging. That's pre-fired lower half. Ball in the T plus knee slap drill, or in the front flip plus knee slap drill, which is another different variation of this exercise. You've got this element, but now we're swinging the baseball bat. So we're going to get into our stance, and we're simply going to take a swing. We've got our T and our T map, and we've got the T at middle, because this is where we base everything off of. You can move it on the hit line based on what you're trying to do with the hitter and what the hitter's needs are. But you're going to get into your stance. You're going to load, and at contact, you're going to see the knee slap just like that. So it's an over-exaggeration of getting this back hit through the baseball, but we're just going to do it by literally getting the foot off the ground. So we're going to see that. We're going to come back and cut through. It's going to look like that. Trying to see that knee come all the way through. We want to be able to lock out this front hip a little bit. You don't want to see a hitter spin out of control when he hits or she hits. You want to see the hitter hit against the front side of the hit against the front hip, just like this, by locking it out a little bit and rotating against it, crashing into it just like that, by doing this exaggeration. This is the T plus knee slap. So again, I want you to make sure that you only do one of those optional exercises. So you want to do 5 minutes of optional exercises. If you want to break that down into sets per player, 3 sets of 10 repetitions for the optional exercise would suffice. If you get about 30 reps of the optional exercise, the player will get something out of it. Next on the list is front flips. These front flips will be at medium and hard velocity. The locations are going to be all included. So again, you can go all the way to in, you can go all the way to away, but you can't increase the velocity to hard velocity. You can do these underhand, you can do them overhand, or you can switch them up. If you're in baseball, you can switch them up. It works pretty well to make sure that the player is on point with the loading process and with squaring up the baseball bat or the softball bat to the ball, whether it's coming underhand or overhand. So make sure that if you do have an advanced team, that you're challenging them and pushing their limits as to how well they're able to square up the baseball or softball. So that's front flips. You're going to do a minimum of 3 sets of 7 to 10 reps per set. That's the front flip work. The next thing we're going to do is batting practice, okay? So this is overhand batting practice if you're in baseball. Underhand batting practice, simply meaning we're elongating the distance that the ball is going to be delivered, okay? So we're going to go right into the L screen formation. You're going to go overhand in baseball. You're going to keep the velocity medium. Don't go nuts with it. And keep the ball on the outer 3 dots, the outer half of the plate for the overhand portion of this first set of batting practice. You want to do batting practice for 20 to 25 minutes. You want to be able to have about 7 reps per round, and you want to be able to do as many of those sets of 7 as time will allow once all of your other work is done. You want to be able to do 20 to 25 minutes total of your team training is going to be geared towards batting practice overhand, okay? And again, what we want to do is you want to make sure that the players are carrying over what those skill sets you have been building up with T work and then with front flips, because this is where there's another leap where you're going to see a player swing slightly differently to accommodate the difference in where the ball is being delivered from. So remind them to be at or close to game speed with batting practice. It is medium velocity, so that is an okay signal to give to your teams to be able to stay aggressive and to be able to swing and keep their hands inside the baseball, but be aggressive. This is not a time to be feeling around for the baseball or softball. This is a time where your central nervous system gets let out, and this is a time where the leap of faith that needs to happen from front flips underneath to batting practice now, which is again is a new step. You want to encourage each team member to stay aggressive, to stay through it. Don't worry about the outcomes, but to stay aggressive throughout. So that's weeks 7 and 8. You are going to see in the final 4 weeks the off-speed element of batting practice that's going to surface, and you're going to see the continued shift of batting practice, front flips, and off-speed pitches, and we're going to see that teeter-totter of optional exercises and tee work go down. And that's sort of how we've laid out this program, so that the advanced portions are being now emphasized towards the end of the program. But good luck in weeks 7 and 8, and we'll see you soon.